quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. The foundation leads the fight, the warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. The foundation leads the fight, the warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo.
How's everybody feeling on this beautiful day? Dr. Scott, how are you feeling today?
It's good to be here. I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We've got irreverent warriors in the house.
But we have no video.
And we are live. We are live out there, and I love it. And just like every day we do this podcast, it's gorgeous.
Yes.
I mean, it's every time we do this podcast, it's gorgeous. It's very weird. So it's nice. I hope everyone is pumped about this upcoming fantastic weekend and is going to take advantage of wherever they are and get out into nature. Will, how you feeling today?
I feel really good, man. I did a bunch of detox this past week and met up with our friend that Dr. Scott here had introduced me to, Dr. Eric Naputi, and He's kind of an infamous character around town, and I just really think the world of that guy. And we did more in about 2 hours at his clinic. We did more in that short amount of time than what I've been able to pull out of the VA in over 12 years in terms of trying to address my toxicity needs. So I felt like absolute hell for 2 days, just a total bag of smashed assholes just for 2 days straight. And today I feel good. So I'm on the bounce back, and I'm looking forward to doing that again with Dr. Naputi. So
You look good.
I feel a lot better. It's give me a month, man. I'll be all the way bounced back. It'll be great.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, look at the shock on my face when you said that you've gotten more from this this practitioner than the VA in 12 years.
Right.
That doesn't shock me at all. I think when you weigh down an organization with so much bureaucracy and so many rules and so many handcuffs, and antiquated equipment and antiquated technology and systems.
It took 5 minutes, man. I've been trying to get a heavy metals test and a non-heavy metals test since I did my detox in Tucson a few years back. And the only thing I get from the VA on that is they just want to try to put me on more head meds. So it's like, what does that have to do with my I lived in a nuclear reactor for like 12 months, man. I'm totally toxic.
I have a broken leg. Well, let's talk about putting you on SSRIs.
Right. And we'll check your prostate real quick while we're at it. That's not what you can expect.
Fascinating. Well, we have a great show lined up today. What we're going to discuss is we're going to jump into a Grunt Style Foundation update. After that, we are going to talk about the event that just occurred for IW in Wisconsin, the Milwaukee hike, which was a fantastic success. Then we're going to get into theta meditation for trauma and complex combat trauma, and how meditation has actually clinically shown to help people who are suffering from the despair, the hopelessness, the isolation, the separation that can come from trauma. And we've got Dr. Scott, an expert in meditation, on today to discuss that with us. He is a Grunt Style Foundation practitioner, so we'll get into that in a minute. And then we're going to cover upcoming events and hikes and things for IW.
Sounds good.
I did want to give a big shout out to the VFW. VFW supports IW and Grunt Style Foundation in a lot of different ways, and it's a great partnership, and it's great working with the VFW. And I also wanted to plug the Boots, Banter, and Beyond IW podcast that you can find on YouTube or Facebook. And they just dropped a new episode for the IW New Hampshire hike, interviewing the leader of that hike, and it is an upcoming hike that you all should check out if you're on the East Coast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So Grunt Style Foundation. Will, tell me, what is new in your world? What is Grunt Style Foundation currently focused on in the way of veteran healing?
Man, we've got a lot going on as always. But for the next short run and the sprint, I guess, we're going to have our annual integration event up here the second weekend in September, so the 12th, 13th, and the 14th, up in Quiver River State Park near Troy, Missouri, at the Sherwood Forest Campground. You're bringing in practitioners of all sorts of crazy modalities, all into this beautiful setting. I think you can probably see them there on the screen scrolling by as David's playing them, but it's a pretty good idea of what this event, the vibe of this event is. And it's just an amazing time. It's really just an introduction into things that, while you may have seen it or you think it's interesting, you know, who has a chance to go and actually sit down with Lakota medicine people and learn about Lakota spirituality or a sweat lodge or energetic equine therapy, or somebody like Dr. Scott that's doing quantum hypnosis healing therapy. I mean, we're really throwing the kitchen sink at this thing. We've got some of our IW folks and GSF folks are coming. Derek Blumke's coming to teach us about overprescriptions of psychotropics. We've got Matt Scally coming up from IW in San Antonio. Is going to be teaching all about cold plunges and all of those fun things. We've got Justin Zakharevich coming back. He's an ayahuasquero from a Peruvian lineage. We got Carlos Duran, who is also an ayahuasquero, but from the Colombian tradition of Yahe. There he is on the screen now, serving Jalen. We've got a lot of our friends from the Pine Ridge Reservation out in South Dakota are coming up, and they're going to be drummers and singers, and we're going to have at least one big old giant teepee out there. We may have 2, so we're going to have a little village going on over there by the Sacred Fire in the Nippy Sweat Lodge area. And, I'm even teaching a class myself this year. So we've just got a lot going on in that area. But again, it's 12th, 13th, and 14th of September. And then as we move into the latter part of September, we will be participating out near D.C. at the Suicilence event. So that's both a concert and a symposium over this issue of how to prevent veteran suicide.
That's right. Yes, and in my experience in going to these Grunt Style Foundation integration events, the most fantastic aspect, and I don't think I've ever seen a retreat like this before. I think most retreats are marketed as, we're going to fix you. We know how to fix you, right? Like, you're going to go to this retreat, pay a bunch of money, and get fixed. And what I've really appreciated about the way you've put these retreats together for Grunt Style Foundation is it's much more about empowerment.
That's exactly right.
And it's about, you're going to heal you, and you get to dip your toe into 20 or 30 different types of healing modalities.
Yeah, every bit of it.
And then see what calls to you, because the formula for Scott is different than me. The formula for Will is different than me.
That's right.
And so it's not a we have it all figured out approach. It's a very humble, hey, we're going to just introduce you to a lot of things that are alternatives to pharmaceuticals.
And it's a good time. Like a lot of the folks that attended last year, they were super excited when we first put that first blast out that, the list was starting, and here's where the Facebook group is. And if you're interested, you can find us on Facebook at Integration STL 2025. That's over there. You can also get to it from the link on our website where the main ticketing page is. But yeah, man, we've got like Justin Zekarevich is an incredibly talented musician. So, I mean, we are going to be holding some ceremonies, nothing with any illegal substances or anything like that.
Sure.
So you don't got to go south to experience a good ceremony here in the context of what we're doing. But they're very thoughtful and very empowering. And the Lakota are going to be running at least 2 big ceremonies. We're going to have a drum workshop. So we've got 7 tickets left of that for $300. It's a little more on the pricey side, but that is to set with the Lakota drummers and singers and make your own Lakota medicine drum out of buffalo hide and the sinew and deer antlers. I mean, it's as legit as it gets. And
thousands of years. They've been doing it that way for what, 10,000 years?
Oh, for sure. And it's a big drum, too. It's an 18-incher. So, I mean, if you're I don't know what a buffalo drum made in a Lakota ceremony would cost you on the internet, but here you can come make one with these guys for real and take it home with you. So, and I think we're going to have some good opportunities to take those drums and use them during some of the ceremonies. So they're going to teach how to drum, and they're going to get everybody involved that's participating in that part. So that's super cool. Chance for everybody just to sit around the fire and, in the after hours and just fellowship and have a good time. It is a magical weekend, man, for sure.
Yeah, the humor and camaraderie that we experienced last year. I remember all of us wearing our silkies and going into the sweat lodge, which is a very intense experience. It forced me to face anxiety in a way that I hadn't experienced before. And essentially, the anxiety coming up in kind of a different way, but kind of also a familiar way. But then you feeling like you could surrender to it, and by doing that, like, embrace it and then cross over this threshold to where you're observing your panic attack without actually feeling it in your emotions. It was very, very deep, very interesting healing that occurred in the sweat lodge.
You really connect into that ceremony in about 3 or 4 different really visceral ways, beyond the heat, beyond the drumming, beyond the singing, beyond just the being in the dark with these people with that very faint glow from the grandfather stones on the sacred fire pit areas. I mean, there's just a lot of different things coming at you.
Yeah,
it's a chance to really go in and do some pretty thoughtful and amazing prayer or meditation or however you choose to employ that space.
Absolutely. And Scott was who I just happened to randomly sit next to in the sweat lodge last time I was in it.
Oh, man.
And Scott, tell me your experience.
It was a heated situation, to be sure. So the great thing about the sweat lodge is, first of all, the authenticity of it all. Authentic Lakota Nation sweat lodge. That was really cool. That was really cool to be able to see, be able to take part in it, watch the setup. And I know it takes them, a day or more to get that going.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
With the fire and
so
whatnot.
much work.
Yeah. And just sitting in there, I could feel myself slipping into the alpha state. I know we'll talk about that. The alpha state's a brainwave state. And, after going through that ceremony, I now recognize it as it's a bridge into alpha, the alpha brainwave state, that sweat lodge. And then from there, you can bridge off into theta. And that's the thing that a lot of these modalities have in common. Sweat lodge, sound therapy, hypnosis, certain plant medicines. It's just a bridge into alpha. And therein lies healing for people, is getting into the alpha state and getting into the brainwave state. And all these modalities are just wonderful ways of getting into alpha.
Great. Yeah. Hey, let's jump right into that. Let's jump right into the meditation stuff. So, Dr. Scott, I've seen you work at a bunch of IW and GSF retreats, guiding people in guided meditation. I've seen a lot of tears and a lot of trauma come up and be able to be addressed in your sessions. So I'm super excited to be able to have you on here today. I wanted to introduce you a little bit to folks that don't know you. Dr. Scott is a certified hypnotist, and he also leads theta brainwave guided meditations, which has been extremely helpful for our Irreverent Warriors group, many of which are having suicidal ideation, despair, hopelessness, and panic attacks. And so I've seen how meditation, which is extremely accessible, right? You don't have to go to a special retreat. You don't really have to do anything crazy. The meditation, guided meditations are very accessible, right? YouTube and different things like that. And I'll ask you what your recommendations would be for someone that wants to dip their toe in. But I've seen it, and I know in my life it has been life-changing. And the way I meditate is not, sitting there like this and going, and doing some sort of Buddhist ritual or anything like that. The way I meditate is literally if I can find silence in nature, whether I'm moving my body, sometimes I feel like sitting down, laying down, a lot of times I'm moving my body, hiking around, swimming, doing whatever. But I feel as if I'm able to go deeply inward and deeply to a place of peace. At first there's all these voices that are going, right, with all the anxieties of the world, but those slowly calm into a place of peace where I'm able to go inward and address different things coming up in my life that I'd like to work on, improve, emotions that I've had that are trying to teach me something, right? And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about your background and then start walking us through like what's actually happening. What's the science behind some of this meditation stuff that I'm describing?
Let me take you back to 1991. 1991, there was a landmark study by a psychologist named Peniston. And he had a group of 15 Vietnam veterans. And this group of 15 veterans had the anxiety affliction and the PTSD affliction and recurring nightmares. And so the crux of the study was to see if we could get, not we, but they could get those veterans to relive their trauma in a safer way, and so they can release it. And so what they did back in 1991 is they put a EEG on your head, which is the electrodes that go on your scalp. Mm-hmm. And they put temperature sensors on the participants' hands. And then through a series of verbal instructions, visualizations, picture X, Y, and Z, breathe deeply, at the same time that they were playing sound tones through headphones to the participants' heads. They noticed that when they gave the instruction to the participants to warm your hands up without rubbing them together, just visualize your hands warming up, they would warm up by a certain amount, so a certain few degrees. And that is a parasympathetic response. And the psychologist knew that when you're giving a parasympathetic response, you are now relaxing. You are in the alpha state.
Okay.
And once in the alpha state, they knew that the theta state was next.
Okay.
And so they kept up the visualizations, kept up the tones, and took these participants, these Vietnam veterans, into the theta state, where they were then instructed to relive whatever traumas they had experienced. They were verbally instructed to start remembering that. Mm-hmm. They did this treatment for 30 times per these 15 participants, 30 times.
Okay.
At the end of the series, 12 of the 15 never had another problem again.
What?
Yeah. And then at least for the time they were monitoring post when the study concluded,
Sure.
which was 3 years.
Sure. Wow, 3 years. Okay, that's good relief from hopelessness and despair and anxiety.
Now, the control group was talk therapy and SSRIs. So they were doing the typical things.
Okay.
All of them had no relief.
Continuing symptoms.
Continuing symptoms.
Well, what shocks me is if this is from 1991, why are we discussing it right now, Will?
Well, because petroleum-based products make money, and you make more money treating symptoms that you never
Revenue.
really get around to actually fixing.
Revenue.
That's
Yeah.
why.
All right. Well, at least we're all on the same page.
I bring that up because 1991 seems like a long time ago, but for some of us, we can remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I was in high school, man.
Yeah. But for the veteran that's out there that thinks meditation might be, some new age hippie type of thing.
Yeah.
There are wonderful veterans that have taken part in these studies before and have had tremendous relief from doing it. So it's a modality open to anyone.
Absolutely. It's really changed my life, and I think it humbled me a lot when I finally decided to give it a real try. Because there was a long time where I danced around it, and I knew somewhere in the back of my mind that meditation could help me heal, but I also was like, I don't want to be a hippie. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be a Buddhist monk hippie person, and a new age person, whatever reason I had a mental block.
It's the herd mentality, man. You don't want to be different than everybody else. And in the veteran community, that has a very identifiable space. And to Scott's point, I mean, it is kind of hippy dippy in a lot of things in terms of what it is, So the task at hand that we have to do, and why we do these integration events, for example, and bring people like Dr. Scott out, is you got to get over yourself and get just engaged. That's your ego, man. All
ego.
those little self-destructive coping mechanisms that we've built in to keep us from feeling the feels again, we have to find a way around that. And I think the biggest thing that we have working against us in the veteran space is exactly what you said. I went through it. Everybody's gone through it. It's like, well, that's hippie shit, man. I don't want to do that weird ass stuff. Well,
And then you hit rock bottom.
what do you want, man? Pick your heart. Do you want to actually find something that may work for you and offer some relief to allow you to go out and be the best version of you, or do you want to be big bad Billy badass guy for a while longer and hold on to your pain because it keeps you warm at night? Or I mean, these are the things that is kind of how I saw it. No, it's certainly how I see it now. Like, man, how much time did I waste just not getting out of my own way?
Yeah, totally. And you were talking about the ego being the voice that's basically just poo-pooing and shutting down, being humble and curious. I think I have 3 different egos that are always arguing with each other. Mm-hmm. And I think I used to have 10 different egos that were all arguing with each other. So I'm headed in the right direction.
Well, you know what? And towards that same point, I've been posting a lot of things from our friend Tim Jensen, the Grunt Style First Sergeant, just wrote this book, The Book of Bang Bang. And we've been pushing a lot of stuff out there. And my favorite one is that number 7 from the Field Gospels from the Book of Bang Bang, everybody. The spirit journey begins when you finally admit that the camo didn't hide shit. And that's the truth. And that's exactly what I have found to be true. And that reluctance to engage in these things might make you feel a little weird or something. That's the camo. And it ain't hiding something,
I would add on to that point a little bit. If we put an EEG on people's heads, you got 4 brainwave states that come out.
Okay.
You got alpha, beta, theta. Let's talk about those 3. The beta state is what you're talking about. Those thoughts, when you have those thoughts, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I'm too cool for this.
Yep.
That's the beta brainwave state.
Okay.
And in order to get into alpha, beta sort of has to be relaxed and suppressed. Right. So you have
or kind
surrendered,
or kind of given a hug.
Yeah.
And then told like, hey, calm down and just watch.
Relaxed. Yes.
Yeah.
Relaxed or suppressed. You can't. It's hard to get into alpha otherwise if you can't quiet the ego. You can't quiet the conscious mind.
Okay.
But I would say that anyone skeptical about it, no matter what modality you pick, these are all paths to alpha and all paths to theta. At the end of the day. Whether you're picking cold plunges, sweat lodges, vibroacoustic therapy, hypnosis, these are all paths to the same place, to the same destination.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but that makes a ton of sense because that's the way that I experience it. Is that all these modalities hold your hand in order for you to go inward, and actually, one of the main things I had to learn how to do was to forgive myself, and then forgive others for different things that would come up, right? And actually be able to heal. With these different brainwave states, which states can help heal trauma?
Both are necessary.
Okay.
You rarely just go straight from your everyday waking mind beta brainwave state. You rarely go straight from there into the deep theta state.
Okay.
There's a road you have to travel between that, and that's called the alpha brainwave state.
Okay.
So you have to start at beta, go to alpha, and then go to theta.
Okay.
Okay. It's a 3-part journey. And the healing takes place in the theta state.
Okay.
This is where these veterans in this study that I described were instructed to relive whatever trauma that they had experienced. And that's where they found their healing in this 1991 study. But there's a second part to this. In 2024, there's another study. An Israeli group picked up this work, and they added a functional MRI into the equation. And so these study participants, they were able to get into the theta state while watching live on a screen data feeds that were monitoring their amygdala, their emotional center.
Okay.
And they could tell just by glancing at the screen if they were in alpha, if they were in theta, or if they were still in beta. And so by the end of just a few sessions, knowing how their thoughts affected the screen, they were training themselves in a neuro-linguistic manner. They were training themselves to be able to get into alpha on the fly, in the wild, whenever they want. And once they were in alpha, they knew immediately how to get into theta. And so they had even more profound results.
Okay.
And so this work, this bridging between the conscious mind to the alpha state to the brainwave state, this is what healing work in its most general root sense is.
Ah, got it. Okay. Yeah, a bunch of different things came to mind when you were talking through that. I think is the theta state would the other way I can describe what you're talking about, because that's the most detached, I guess you could say, state that I reach in my meditations, where I'm able to objectively view things that happen to me without being the person that they're happening to, right? I'm able to almost remote view or view it from a third person lens. That's also kind of like when I'm falling asleep and when I wake up each day, I feel like there's a moment in that space. Is that accurate?
You're exactly right. It's that space. Every day you get into theta at least twice, when you're about to wake up and when you're about to go to sleep. And that is the state of mind where you can weaponize your theta state for your own benefit.
Okay.
You can ask yourself questions. You can put a problem at the forefront of your mind in your theta state. And then over the course of the night, when you wake up, you might have an answer to that problem, right? The theta state is something that people can capitalize on once they're taught how to recognize that they're in it in the first place. Most people don't do what you do. Most people just let the theta state run wild. And then, there's not really any therapeutic benefit to that. But you can add a little bit of discipline to your theta state. You can find rapid progress, rapid relief.
Yeah, this topic is so fascinating, man. We filmed with Dr. Scott a full triangular compass episode on quantum hypnosis healing therapy, and we really got in deep into that conversation. And man, was that fun! Because if you are really interested in this stuff, what I found, my takeaway from our conversation with Dr. Scott, and that episode is going to drop here soon-ish. We've got several in the can that we're waiting to release. Dr. Scott's is one of them. But what I took away from it, Dr. Scott, and tell me if I'm on target here, sounds to me like the theta wave is the beginning of the rabbit hole, the real rabbit hole, when it comes to all these types of healing modalities, all these types of plant medicines, all these types of meditations. It's essentially a combination of, my takeaway from it in the reading material that you turned me on to after the fact is essentially, it's it's kind of where all the little fractals that we are start to kind of really coalesce. It is the Akashic records. It is the portal to all the things, the past lives, if that's how you want to look at it, or the ability to look at, if you're a fractal of consciousness of God, and you represent that when you die, and that little piece of you goes back into that, you're going into the theta wave state is how I'm understanding it.
Yes.
And you can literally jump around from life to life if you knew how to drive it. And I think that's what quantum hypnosis healing therapy is really kind of doing, isn't it, Doctor?
That's exactly what it's doing.
So it's like the human cloud, like human internet.
Yes.
That'd be a great way to put it if I understand what you're saying, right? But yeah, man, teach us.
So the theta state is some people call it the all-knowing, all-powerful state, where you can achieve much of anything that you think about in the theta state.
I was gonna say, when I go to theta in my meditations, I usually don't ask a lot of questions or do a lot of active stuff because I'm just feeling pure peace and calm and love, you know?
That probably serves you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And it probably would serve members of IW and Grunt style
Absolutely.
and any veteran. Just that peace that you can find in pure theta is not something you can describe that easily. It's something better to be experienced. But beyond just being in the peaceful state, you can also direct and mold the theta state in different ways. And one of the ways that I do that with clients is through quantum healing hypnosis technique, where we take a client back into a past life, past existence. Now we can, have spiritual debates on the existence of those things or not. I'm not trying to get into religious doctrines here, but in the theta state, people remember other lifetimes. Just period, end of story. So I've had clients remember being alive in the 1700s, in the 1800s. I've had clients go to every major world war, live and die through those experiences again. And they're veterans in this life too. So, some people might say, well, what's the advantage of that? Why go and relive those things? It's a great question. But there's a therapeutic benefit to understanding where your soul has been and what experience it has collected in prior lives, because it helps explain the present situation. So a client might remember several lives where they had a pattern of doing certain things. And then seeing that pattern helps them say, wait, in the present life, I'm doing the same thing again. Maybe this is the wake-up call I need to do something different, right? So pattern recognition is a huge part of this, right? Just that understanding your prior soul's path.
Got it. Well, I know at our IW and GSF retreats, when you lead the group guided meditations, you have a certain step that you kind of have where you take them through from Bravo or from
Bravo.
Bravo brainwave state to Alpha brainwave state, and then to Theta. Walk us through one of those really generic ones, because I know I've heard you do a bunch of different ways, but tell us where you're switching from Alpha to Theta, because I know you'll say, I'm walking down a staircase or something like that, right? Walk us kind of through what you're doing there.
So in the Alpha state, the primary concern of the Alpha state is to get the body relaxed and to start up the parasympathetic system, right? So that you don't have the fight or flight response. That's the first thing. That's the point of Alpha. And so in the exercise, I will start them off with somewhere familiar. I'll say, you're standing outside of your house, your apartment, wherever you live. And I have them remember what their own house looks like. Mm-hmm. We walk through several rooms in the house. Mm-hmm. And they might think, oh my gosh, that's boring. I live there every day. But there's a reason we do that, because you're relaxing as you're describing, as you're remembering what your own home looks like.
It's familiar.
And then we get to a point where...
And that part is calming the beta, the Bravo state?
That is calming the beta Bravo state.
Okay. The beta Bravo.
Beta Bravo. And then I just have you picture your master bedroom, and then look at a wall in the master bedroom that doesn't have a door in it. And then we go through that door. And then once we get beyond that door, now these other visualizations start coming in. Once people go through this door, after they're already super relaxed into Alpha, they start having different experiences that they'll go through the door to a different time. It could be a past life, it could be a present, but different place. It could be a different dimensional type of existence, but they will go somewhere when they go through that door. The trick, the challenge for the participant is not that they won't see anything. The trick is to just get them to open up and understand that if I ask you to walk through the door and you do it, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What's the first thing you see in your mind's eye as you get to the other side? That exercise, tell me the first thing that comes to your mind's eye. That is everything. Because
being present.
That comes from theta.
Yeah.
That's the theta. So we do a shallow water dive into theta. We don't stay down in theta too long because there's too many participants for that. I work with clients one-on-one for the most time. And if there's 20 people in the room, it's hard to manage 20 different theta states.
Yes.
But we do shallow water dive into theta, and they'll start remembering these other existences. Now they might think, oh, I imagined it. I made it all up. Your theta brainwave state faster moves. Your theta brainwave state moves at a hertz rate that is faster than your conscious brain. And so the first thing that comes to your mind does not come from your beta conscious mind.
Fascinating.
And I think I said that incorrect. The first thing that comes to your mind does come from theta.
Oh, okay.
But its wavelength is a bit longer than the conscious mind, than the beta Bravo state.
Okay.
But it is still first. It's still the first thing that will come to your mind, which is where the information and where the healing.
You had said something very interesting when we did the podcast, where you were saying that everybody's beta wave state and alpha wave state is pretty much unique to the individual, but the theta wave state is shared.
Correct. There was a collective theta wave state. So Hugh and Will and myself, we all share the same frequency, the same wavelength, the same theta state. So that theta wave state exists outside of time and space. And when you're accessing that, you're accessing something that's on an eternal scale that is beyond your individual ego. You're having an experience within a beta bubble of that theta state. But once we can dissolve that bubble and get you back into theta, now you are accessing the Akashic record, as you said, the all-knowing brainwave state.
Yeah, that makes way more sense to me than that I've had other lives. I don't know that I mean, I have, I guess, in some way, if you look at it. Like, if we're all the same intelligence and you are, time is irrelevant. And so you're, okay, now I'm experiencing Hugh's life, and now I'm experiencing Dr. Scott's life, and now I'm experiencing Will's life. But all these experiences, like you said, are being uploaded to the cloud in that theta state, and you can bounce around and access them, and time really doesn't matter. And that kind of principle of, like, the men who stared at goats, isn't this all part of that program from the CIA?
Well,
yes.
maybe you access information in the cloud that is relevant to your current what you're facing.
Yeah, yes. I think that's probably it. And it's just, I find it remarkable that every time you talk with folks that do the past life stuff, there's like demonstrable elements inside of it. Scott's book has got some really convincing things there. We should definitely plug your book, man, because it's a fascinating read. And it'll open your mind a little on this stuff, man, because I came into the initially thinking, like, how come everybody's goddamn Julius Caesar or Patton? Nobody's like Fred the Milkman from 1952. Why is that?
Yeah.
That's a great reason.
Yeah, tell us about your book.
The book is called Quantum Intern Year 1, and it covers my very first year of doing hypnosis with clients when I was an intern, when I wasn't very good at it. And my internship sessions were so wild because, in a way, it was justifying this practice to myself, not just for my clients. Because I was wondering, is this going to be something I'm really going to do? If it is, I want to see some crazy stuff. I want to be able to pull up someone's past life on the internet and find historic records. That's just my ego saying, I need this justified, right? So I got exactly what I asked for. I had clients, and I was able to go and research their past lives in many cases and find corroborating evidence. My favorite one is a story about a train wreck. I had a client who was a detective in Chicago in a past existence during the early 1900s. And he did a bunch of things as a detective. But the way this story ended is he was coming on a train back into heading toward Chicago, but he was passing through Nebraska, and the train derailed tragically, and most of the lives were lost. There was very few survivors. And there's a memorial up there to this day to that exact train wreck. And because this client was so detailed under hypnosis, I was able to take those details, and that pointed me to this train wreck. And then I found the newspaper articles. And then I found the names of the different victims. Now, in this particular instance, my client's name, who he said he was, wasn't among the deceased, except there were 6 unidentified. So I like to think he's among the 6 unidentified, right? But he's the details were so specific. He described being on the train. He described the train car sort of telescoping into one another as it crashed down into the ravine. The fiery inferno, and then nothing, right? And then he was out of that life.
Fascinating.
Right. And so I'm able to find those records. I had a client who was a Civil War general, not one of the well-known ones, but one of the ones only the Civil War historians would know about, and gave corroborating details. And I found the general, and I found the battles. And so these things justified to me the practice of going into theta.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Now, if I'm somebody that's really new to the whole meditation thing, what's a way to get started? I know that the way I started was with guided meditations on YouTube. I literally just Googled 10-minute guided meditation, 15-minute guided meditation, 20-minute guided meditation. Tell us what your recommendation would be. And Will, you might have some thoughts on this as well.
YouTube is a great resource for that, especially for beginning guided meditations. And if you want to up that a little bit, you can get yourself some of those, what are they called? I think they're called shocks, open run shocks, these different headsets that they don't sit on your ear. They sit kind of like on your temple, and they vibrate the sound into your head. You can listen to meditations with that. That's a way to level up meditation.
Yeah, I use
meditation hack.
Noise canceling headphones really, really, really helped me. I remember
great.
Because I've got kids running around my house, dogs, birds, my wife's like Ace Ventura. She's got all these animals. So it's really hard to meditate in my house, but noise canceling headphones solve that.
One good way to start would be to come to Integration coming up here in September.
Yep.
And I'm teaming up with a couple other practitioners, a Qigong Grandmaster and Noel, the sound healer. And the 3 of us are going to do an event on Saturday. And that would be a great way to get started if you're planning on coming to Integration.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I think, thank you so much, Dr. Scott. Please stay with us. But I think we've learned a lot about meditation today. I've learned a ton about theta. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that I have now thoughts or a way to understand these different states that I go through when I go to that place of love, in my meditations.
Yeah, and if you really want to go deep on this subject with Dr. Scott, be sure and check out our Triangular Compass episode that'll be dropping here in the next month or so once we release that episode. But we'll, of course, announce it. But yeah, we definitely go into some deep places in that conversation. It was a fun one to record.
Yeah, it was fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're fresh back from Wisconsin, where we went for the big IW event in Wisconsin, the annual IW Silkies hike that had events on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But Saturday, of course, was the actual hike, and you can see it here. The weather really cooperated with us. It was beautiful. It was beautiful out. We had more participation in this year's Silkies hike in Wisconsin than any previous hike. It was basically double any previous hike. And a lot of our hikes this year have been like that. It has been just an outsized response to what we are doing here at Irreverent Warriors and what we're doing at Grunt Style Foundation. And it was phenomenal. From the meet and greet where they had a memorial from Mike Wilkie, which was just really touching and really fantastic. And Joe and Crystal and the team there, the volunteer team in Milwaukee, just did a phenomenal job of planning and executing this. As you can see, the VFW stepped up in a major way, especially the auxiliary there in Wisconsin. We were able to hike with the new the commander of the VFW that's coming on in 2026, Corey, he was there. He Silkies hiked with us and was super excited. This is his 4th year with IW, so that was just a fantastic experience. There was tug of war. There was tons of humorous games. There was a calf contest where people had to display their calves to win prizes.
It's very Victorian, edgy.
Yeah, and there were judges. There were calf judges. And then at the end, the Slap Happy Hempery made a Wilkie CBD, from Mike Wilkie. They created a CBD specifically to remember Mike Wilkie, and they handed that out to anybody that finds benefit from CBD. As we know, CBD can be very helpful with inflammation and insomnia. And so there were a lot of folks there that were really excited to get this wonderful tribute and memorial to Mike Wilkie.
Yeah, the bags alone were worth, a collector's item, man.
Yeah.
It just looks so cool.
Yeah.
And good job to the Grady's, man. Big shout out to John and Kara Grady. They are just supporting the foundation and the work of Irreverent Warriors. They also will be out at the integration event on September the 12th and through the 14th. They'll be there when they'll be bringing some Wilkie's weed along with them if you want to grab a bag and you missed out in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I look forward to it. And then we have upcoming events. So the IW upcoming events that we have that we're excited about is, of course, New Hampshire. We discussed that earlier in the show, and please check out the Boots Banter and Beyond episode to check out that New Hampshire hike. It's going to be fantastic. There's so many unique things about experiencing New Hampshire that you won't get anywhere else. Also, we've got Detroit coming up that has a really cool route planned out. We've got Boise. If you're out in Idaho, IW Idaho is doing a massive event there in Boise. And then London in Europe.
I want to go to that one.
London, yeah.
Let's go to that.
Second week of September, London has their Silkies hike, and it's fantastic. It's supported by the Ministry of Defense. It's supported by so many different groups there in London. I know in the past they've gone and gotten on battleships, and they've gone and done all these gone to Big Ben and gone to all these different really famous places in London in their Silkies with IW flags and, humor and camaraderie.
Yeah, man. And it's such a weird thing, too, because in Europe and in England, Great Britain, it's a different experience being a veteran over there than it is here. Here, it's like, that's my identity, and over there, it's like, it's something I did once, and, I don't really talk about it. They don't have that same pride, that we do.
True.
We need to go there and, show those stiff upper lip Brits there how to enjoy themselves some freedom and all that.
Yeah. Why not celebrate things you've accomplished?
Yeah, and I think they're doing a good job with that, and I think IW is playing a role. So maybe we can move the needle of the old the King's Own Patriots there.
Absolutely. Well, we have a presence in Italy, Germany, and France.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And all of our other folks out there in Europe watching this, please fill out a leadership application.
Yeah.
We're looking for volunteers and expanding our presence in Europe. So that wraps up the agenda. So
let's talk about the big pressing matter that we started the last time we sat around this table. We didn't have Dr. Scott with us, but Dr. Scott, as you may have heard, there's a giant intergalactic thing,
asteroid or
coming into the solar system.
Yeah.
So are you on team it's a comet? Are you on team it's aliens? Where are you at?
I see no reason why it couldn't be both.
Oh,
to be quite
Aliens
honest.
on a comet?
I mean, or disguised as a comet, or maybe it's humans, or maybe it's just a rock, or maybe it's aliens.
What if it's the Hale Bop people from the 90s? Remember those guys that all killed themselves? They're back to get the rest of us. Maybe they're right.
They're back.
Yeah, that would be fascinating. I'm always just open and curious to finding out. It's going to be one extreme or the other. Well, it's not going to be in the middle.
If it is the Halebot people and they're hostile, I'm pretty sure we can take them. I'm not terribly worried about that. If they're bugs, they're giant bug people.
Oh, Super Troopers?
Yeah, yeah, not super.
Starship
Listen to him
Troopers.
meow. Listen to him meow.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
The thing that weirds me out is the sort of early press around this comet to get people afraid of it. I don't think there's reason to
That is
fear it.
interesting.
You
Yeah,
think so?
the fear
You think it
is the fear has gone viral.
It feels like there's this press to get people to be afraid
I
of
feel
it.
like I think we're just a jaded, cynical people, man. Like
Maybe
everything
that's
I'm
it.
seeing on social media is making it a joke, you know?
Well, yeah, because social media is great.
Well, it's fun.
Great
It's
for
fun.
that.
I'm making it a joke too, for the most part. I mean, I really don't know that it's
Avi
aliens
Loeb.
coming to get us, but I do think it's cool, you know,
Right.
to talk about.
Avi
What do
Loeb-
you think in the comments, everybody? Are you on Team UFO or are you on Team Comet? Let us know in the comments, and we'll do a little informal poll.
Is it a slow meteor or is it a giant Star Trek spaceship? Is it humans from the future or is it insectoid aliens?
Man, I
Whatever
hope
it is, we shouldn't be afraid of it. With my humble estimation.
you think so?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean,
think,
fear never really helps any situation that I can think of, except maybe if there's a bear coming at you.
Or giant spaceship of insect aliens?
when the Harvard physicist Avi Loeb, when he said that perhaps that it's extraterrestrial and perhaps they're hostile, that's when my skeptical radar went off and I said, well, why are you trying to get people afraid of this thing right now?
Yeah, I mean, what if they're aliens that have been doing a lot of theta brainwave
Yeah, what if?
They're
and they
enlightened
are
aliens.
filled with love and they just want to share new farming techniques with us?
Do you think so?
I mean, we need batteries made out of salt water and we need some new farming techniques.
Well, they're probably not hooked on psychotropic medications, whatever
Probably
the
not.
case is. So they probably have something to teach us.
Yeah,
I see
they-
we got one vote so far. Only one person has really chimed in. Our friend Lisa Mills. She is saying she is Team UFO, and she wants you to know specifically, Hugh. We got to hike hard and probe later.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, that's harsh.
Funny.
Good one, Lisa. Good one.
Love it. Love you, Lisa. All right. Well, it has been a fantastic episode. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us on Friday. We look forward to seeing you again and have a amazing weekend. Hopefully you can do a guided meditation on YouTube and find that theta wave, brainwave state. Cool.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Stay waxy.